Hello and welcome to the SciFirst MovieTalk episode. So in this episode I'll be discussing the 2015 computer animated comedy prequel and spin-off to the popular Despicable Me franchise, Minions, as directed by Pierre Coffin after also directing the previous two movies, or well, co-directing the previous two movies in the series, 2010's Despicable Me and 2013's Despicable Me 2. Serving as a prequel to the two previous Despicable Me movies, in this installment we now go Minions crazy, with a movie taking the focus to the ever-eager, if somewhat haphazard, yellow Minions from the two aforementioned Despicable Me movies, now in their very first, very own feature-length adventure, charting their origins and their tribulations in finding a master they can serve without inadvertently killing them off. Ever since they evolved from being single-cell organisms, the Minions have always aimed to please and serve their master, the biggest bad they can find, but always end up, through a series of misunfortunate events, finding themselves in need of new employment, not being able to keep their boss, well, alive. After ending up once again alone and without a boss to serve, the Minions make a life for themselves inside a remote cave. But after many years of isolation, they begin to feel the malaise and fear that without a purpose they will slowly die. Three Minions, Kevin, Stuart and Bob, as voiced all by Pierre Coffin, take it upon themselves to head off out into the wider world in order to find their next boss, finding themselves in the United States of America, circa 1968, where they travel to VillainCon, where a whole manner of thieves and crooks and vagabonds and bandits descend in order to showcase their talents and latest gadgetry, and none no more so than the greatest female villains of all time, Scarlet Overkill, as voiced by Sandra Bullock. Looking to find favour with their new master, the Minions look to do Scarlet's bidding, but soon events start to spiral fantastically and frantically out of control. And before they know it, the Minions are once again trying to frantically catch up with events to put things right before they lose yet another boss. Or at least that's how things start out. It seems that perhaps their new boss may even be more evil and conniving than even the Minions are used to. Well, what a mixed bag this was indeed. Now, I can't say that I don't love the antics of the Minions. They're always so naive, trusting and ever willing to help, and they always bring some of that old school slapstick humour with them wherever they go. And a bit of sunshine, you know? I also can't argue that those that say that they are simply irritating as well, you know? And that thanks to their face being plastered over everything from school lunch boxes to billboards, they can feel a little, well, quite saturated. Love them, hate them. There's not really any escaping the Minions these days. And to be honest, let's face it, at least they do make people smile. And universally a bag of money at the same time. Now, I know that's a little bit cynical, but this film did feel like it was trying to tread in two worlds. In one, it tried to be entertaining, keep things a little fresh, if but completely bananas, and give us a laugh or two, if but not wholly orchestrated too well. Then, of course, at times the movie does feel directly like a cash grab, to give us an origin story that we really didn't need, but we got one anyway. And I'm not really sure that the film does enough to really balance the two. Sure, it's a crazy ride, as one would expect as a solo outing for the Minions, you know, to be. Quite a bit tongue-in-cheek and extremely self-narrative and aware. The first half isn't actually all that bad, I didn't think, where the Minions go exploring the wider world and eventually meet a criminal family called the Nelsons. That's actually pretty decent. The second half with Scarlet Overkill, now don't get me wrong, there's some great characters here and Sandra Bullock does a fantastic job with Overkill, but the story becomes chaotic and all over the place. Every minute is just simply more outrageous than the next. It's trying to outdo itself every minute, every time it cycles round. And whilst I certainly expected this to some extent, I think this goes a little bit too far, too soon, and really, you know, to really kind of handle and set against the rest of the franchise. I actually found it more coherent and better paced as a road trip movie. It seemed more like an adventure, and to be honest, had more lovable characters at that stage that I certainly would have liked to have seen more of. That might have been a better centre for the movie, or at least to have included them more in the plot, perhaps. As it stands, it was really hard to see where it might actually be taking things at times, and although sometimes being caught off guard with these kind of films might be a quirky touch and keep you on your toes, this did kind of feel like it lacked aim and became very muddled very quickly. There's still plenty of comedy to be had, as you would expect from these crazy critters, but it certainly has a more cartoonish feel, ending up being what feels more like a bunch of sketches glued together that still kind of felt a little bit tacky in places. Their antics are often more like a Benny Hill special than a movie, but it is a fun and playful animation that never really means any harm, and only serves, cynicism aside, to offer a few smiles to its audience. It might be a bit misguided, and to be honest, it starts to fly off into far-off realms of fantasy, even for this franchise, bringing in mythological references where it did kind of lose me a bit, getting quite ludicrous and a bit bizarre, if you ask me. But at the end of the day, I still can't deny that what we do end up with is simply a bunch of hilarious and fantastical situations set to an awesomely swinging 60s soundtrack, making a complete mockery of the British Crown in the process. But those stiff upper lip Brits, you know, just weren't ready for the Minions invasion. Far out, man. Overall, this is a movie that can sometimes be a bit too surreal. It doesn't make all that much sense, but then a film about the Minions was never really supposed to, I suppose. It's perhaps a film that we didn't even need. The origins of the Minions answers questions I don't think I needed the answers to. But it's a reasonably well-meaning and fun escapade, way overcooked, but frantic, colourful, and boldly done. If you like the Minions' antics in the Despicable Me movies, then you'll love this. You'll get something out of it. Otherwise, there's probably not all that much it really brings to the table. In the end, it really is just a collection of skits stuck together with tape and sprinkled with a bit of glitter. Though there are some nods to Despicable Me that are worth watching it for sure, if you're a fan of the franchise. So, that brings me to the end of this episode. Many thanks for watching. I do hope you've enjoyed it. If you have, please leave a like. Please do hit that subscribe button for more movie reviews, trailer reactions, and other movie-related content. Absolutely loved having here at SciFirst MovieTalk, and definitely love to have you back. Most of all, just thank you very much for watching. Goodbye.